Dune is a 2021 science fiction epic based on the popular series of novels written by Frank Herbert. It boasts an ensemble cast primarily made up of Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Stellan Skarsgård, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, and Javier Bardem. The story follows Paul Atreides, son of Duke Leto and heir to the House Atreides. When a plot to wipe out his entire family leaves only himself and his mother alive, they traverse the dangerous desert planet of Arrakis to find and join forces with the Freemen in order to take down their common enemy. That was a rough explanation, but I think you get the point. Prior to watching this movie, the only things I knew about Dune were that many people thought the books were near impossible to faithfully adapt into a good movie because of how complex they are, and just how much of a polarizing mess the one and only attempt to make a Dune movie was back in 1984. I haven't read any of the books or even seen the 1984 adaptation, so my thoughts on Dune 2021 isn't impacted by how faithful it is to either of them. With all that said, let's get started. As always, I'll explain my positives and negatives, then finally give my final consensus on the film. Positive number one is, of course, the acting. With an impressive big name cast such as this one, I expected the performances to be nothing less than top notch, and that's exactly what I got. I think all the actors and actresses did a great job in their roles, but for me, the standouts were Oscar Isaac as the calm, collected leader of House Atreides, Duke Leto, Rebecca Ferguson as the mysterious, emotional center of the film, Lady Jessica, and an unrecognizable Stellan Skarsgård as the creepy antagonist, Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. Positive number two, the special effects. A make-or-break aspect that Dune couldn't afford to mess up were the special effects, and for the most part, I think they delivered. I like all of the costume designs that they went with, especially the battle suits that everyone was wearing with the force fields. The effects team did a great job, and obviously not a penny was spared in making the environments look as natural as possible. I'm sure the makeup artists are proud of what they did with the high-class members of House Harkonnen. The effects did a great job of making them look dark and menacing, especially with Stellan Skarsgård's Baron Vladimir character. Without giving away too much, that scene with Duke Leto and House Harkonnen is one of the best movie scenes of the whole year, largely thanks to how good the special effects are. The one and only time that the special effects weren't good in my opinion was in that fighting vision that Paul had that felt weirdly out of place. Some people said that it looked like a scene from Power Rangers, and I totally agree. Other than that though, I really like the special effects in Dune. Positive number three is something that I didn't expect to become a highlight of the film for me: the action. Sure, it doesn't reinvent the wheel or anything, but I like how the action was done in a unique way, thanks to the force field battle suits that they used in the movie. This results in little to no bloodshed during fight scenes, which forces the choreographers to make the fights more strategic, since characters can basically dodge bullets and sidestep fatal blows if they're skillful enough. A great example, and my favorite action scene in the whole movie, was Jason Momoa's character Duncan Idaho's last stand against Sardaukar soldiers. That was one of the best moments in the entire film, and the perfect send-off for the character. Positive number four for me is the atmosphere. If you've seen any of my past movie reviews, then you know how much I love when this aspect is done right. The creators of Dune did a great job of grounding the film's futuristic sci-fi elements in reality. The environments are all very spacious and look natural. It's a pretty dark and serious film throughout, but doesn't make the common movie mistake of obsessing over its own morbid, gritty nature. Instead, I think Dune finds a nice balance between delivering a satisfying and fittingly dark style along with a lot of great substance. My fifth and final major positive about Dune is its world building. Like a lot of other movies these days, Dune was released in hopes of starting a media franchise, which is why the film spends so much of its time explaining how its world works. Thankfully, Dune is one of the few films that does this right, due to its beautiful visual spectacles and the fact that the world that they're introducing us to is actually interesting. Everything from the designs of their technology to the villains and especially their religion make me interested to see what the Dune franchise has to offer next. As far as my problems with Dune, I only have one, and it's that the mother-son relationship between Rebecca Ferguson's character, Lady Jessica, and Timothy Chalamet's character, Paul Atreides, isn't always as convincing as it has to be. It wasn't a tragically bad aspect of the film, but at the same time, I did find it very apparent. especially after the fall of House Atreides and the death of Duke Leto, when the only ones they could count on were each other. Those affectionate scenes of them comforting and protecting each other are key moments in the film that, although they came out just fine, could have been much better if they had better chemistry. I don't think it's totally the fault of the actors, though, because on top of their lack of chemistry, I think they just flat out don't look like the ages of mother and son. If I'm not mistaken, Timothy's character is supposed to be 15, but at the time of filming, he was around 23, 24, and looked every bit of it. No offense. While Rebecca Ferguson's character is supposed to be in her early to mid 30s, I presume, but looked barely 30, even though she was 35 at the time of filming. Although, according to Screen Rant, the book described her as a beautiful and regal bronze-haired woman, not yet indicating any signs of old age. So what we're left with here is a weird situation where the son looks older than he's supposed to be, and the mother looks younger than she's supposed to, because she's supposed to. Long story short, my one and only problem with Dune is that I find the relationship between Paul and his mother, Lady Jessica, to be not that convincing. Since those are all my points, let's head into the final consensus. Like most people going into Dune 2021, I wasn't sure what to expect. Another fan-splitting nightmare like the 1984 adaptation, or a surprisingly well-executed big studio gem that actually leaves audiences wanting to see more. Thankfully, it was the latter. Dune boasts great performances, especially from Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson, and Stellan Skarsgård. Great special effects for the most part, unique action scenes, and some of the best, well-thought-out world-building that I've seen in a very, very long time. I can't tell you how faithful or unfaithful it is to the books, but I can tell you with absolute certainty that it's one of the best movies of 2021, which is why I give Dune a 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know when I upload next. This has been Andre Darius, and I'll see you all next time. God bless.